So I know of this woman. She is a great writer, a master chef. She was a magazine editor. Yeah, she was a riverboat guide. She also ran a small island hotel. She also was a nun, a rabbi, and a witch, and then a prime minister, and then a president. Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Anyone?
You?
The pronouns threw you. Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep. Most people agree that Meryl Streep is a pretty amazing actress. She has been nominated for 21 Oscar nominations. That's more than any other actor, living or dead. And she's won 3 so far. So there's a lot of different characters that she's played. A lot of different people live inside her. How many different people live inside you? Now, you might not want to win an Oscar, but did you know that you can use techniques that actors use to help you out in your life? I mean, picture this. What if you could transform yourself into a Rambo or a Mulan as you're going into a high-stakes situation, like a job interview or a production meeting? Right? Or when a sweet sensitivity is required because you have to deal with a colleague who's going through some trauma. So you transform into a Forrest Gump or a Miss Marple so you can have a sincere curiosity. Right? You can use the tools to adapt your personality and your persona, and some of you already do. Some of you do it a lot. Some of you do it a little. Now, Meryl Streep, when she becomes a character, what she does is she changes her outside, right? She changes the way she holds her body, she holds her tension, she changes the way she uses her eyes and how she holds her head. She changes the way she walks, and we can't forget the accent. She also does that. But she doesn't just change the outside. She also changes the inside. She has to create a different backstory. She has to create a different worldview, a different way of seeing life. Then the wardrobe department come in and they give her a wardrobe, right, so that she feels the character. And then she's off to hair and makeup, and then she becomes the character. And she throws herself so completely into the role that she can do whatever the script requires of her. Whether she's sort of playing a weak or punished character, right, like, I am the French lieutenant's whore. Or when she's playing a tougher character, right? Like, oh, Dingo took my baby. Because we demand truth from our actors, we want to believe that they are the person that they're playing. She has to reach inside. She has to reach inside and find the pain or the trauma or the upset, but she also has to find the bravery and the heroics as she plays different characters. Now, you can do that too. Now, actors use different techniques to create their characters, right? Sometimes they can use animal work, or they'll use status work, or they'll use something called Laban notation. I'm not even going to get into that. And sometimes they base their characters on real people. They mimic what they're doing to create the character. I'll give you an example. I took a sword fighting class, and I noticed on the very first day that our instructor moved his head like a little bird. He would go, okay, good, everyone go and get a sword and a mask, and then what we'll do is we'll meet out over on the red mat. All right. So when I did a play called Waiting, anyone see it? It was really good. I did the same thing for my character. I was like, the woman in the next room, did she give you a form to fill out? Now, like I said, you can use a real person, whether you're making an eccentric character or a powerful character. And I've already said a couple times, you kind of do that too. How many people here by applause have ever heard of the term code switching? A couple, good, okay, good. So, code switching is when a person changes their behavior or their voice or their attitude or how they're presenting themselves based on the group that they're in. When you're in your own group, whether that's based on race or religion or gender, there must be others, I can't remember now, you will behave one way, but then when you're in a mixed group, you will change your behavior. I'm now doing a code switch. As a queer person, what? He's gay? Did the shirt give it away? It's more in theory than in practice. I learned at a very young age that I had to change how I talked and how I behaved depending on what group I was in. And now, some people have become very good at doing that. Some people have become very good at changing who they are when they're around different people. Politicians, many politicians are very good at changing how they talk or behave depending on where they are geographically or if they're in an urban or rural setting. And I don't know, has anyone here seen any interviews lately? She's on the news again recently with Paris Hilton. A couple, yeah. Because she's talking in a completely different voice. And she'll even say this, she's like, I'm tired of playing the distracted, dumb blonde. So she's either was playing a character to get what she wanted, she got a TV series and an album and, you know, top 10 hit, or she's playing a character now, right? A lot of people know how to manipulate themselves. So I'll give you an example. Here's an example of when you likely do it. When your phone rings, you pick it up, and it's an unknown call. Or user unknown. So you have to either seem very kind of tough and nonchalant as you go, ring, ring, hello. But the minute you know who it is, your voice completely changes. Right? Ring, ring, hello. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, no, I meant to call you. Oh, no, I can't. I'm in the middle of a TEDxSurreySalon. Okay, thanks. So you change your voice. You change how you are behaving. We all do this, and I think what we're going to look at now is the people around this room. If you look around this room, now I don't know if you know this, people can be kind of judgy. As you look around this room, you might be able to make a snap judgment based on how a person is holding themselves, how they're sitting there, right? You might look at someone, and you might suddenly think, well, they seem really sensitive. Or look at someone else like, well, they wouldn't back down from a fight. Or, they're always smiling, people must love them. Or, they're so sexy, they're so comfortable in their body. What if we could order a personality or a persona like the way we order a coffee? Right? Hi, I'd like a no-foam double caramel macchiato with some cinnamon, no guilt and no emotional baggage. Thank you. Like, what if we can combine a little bit of person A and person B, put them together? So, I'm going to give you a little acting lesson. We're going to use one of the tools that actors use. We're going to use somebody that you really know. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of someone in your life. It doesn't have to be someone you see a lot or often, but when you do see them, you can't help but smile. You can't help but feel excited. They energize you. So everyone think of that person. Who's that person who I see, who when I see them, like when they go away, you're like, oh, I hope I see them again soon. Right? They're just a happy, happy person. Okay? So everyone got, hopefully you all have someone like that. Nope, all my friends are miserable. We just get around and we complain. So has everyone got one? You got someone? Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to think of their face, right? How do they hold their facial muscles? Do they have smile lines around their eyes because they smile a lot? Are their eyebrows up? Right? Are their eyebrows up and open to what's happening? Do they tip their head? Right? Because they're being inquisitive? Do they speak in a funny voice? Do they tell jokes? Do they make funny sounds? How do they hold their body? Are they open to the world? Do they touch things in a warm and friendly way? Consent first. So, And now, has everyone got that pictured in their mind's eye? You're picturing, I can see my friend, I can see the person who I quite love and I quite adore, and I wish I saw them more often. Okay, so now we're going to do a little experiment. In a second, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Don't do it yet, because you missed the rest of the instructions. And then I'll talk you a little bit more through this person, and I just want you to try to become this person. I'm not going to make you do lines, so I'm not going to hand you a script. Right? You're just going to go, I'm just going to try to behave like they do. I'm going to hold myself the way they hold themselves. I'm just going to copy what they're doing. Okay? So everybody close your eyes and just picture them in your mind's eye. Okay, I see them. Breathe them in and think about how they see the world. Where's their tension? How do they hold themselves? Okay, in a second, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and just look around through their eyes. Open your eyes and just look around. How they would look around. I'm looking. You have 5 seconds. Okay, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Could you feel there was a difference? You could feel there was a difference? Yeah. You felt taller. Nice, nice, nice. So one of the things that's really important to know is that you didn't become a completely different person, right? Just like Meryl Streep doesn't become a completely different person, right? She has to use her own resources. You were mimicking something that they were doing while using your own joy and outlook, right? You maybe were changing your outlook because maybe you're kind of a grumpy person, but at that moment you're like, well, no, I'm going to think I'm not a grumpy person, right? So you're changing that. So what you did is you used an outside influence and an inside resource to create a persona. And here's the thing, you could do that at any time. You can take this persona into a situation that you might need them. And again, you're not making something fake because it is based on you. You're just adapting. You're just playing a character. You're just playing someone. Now, I'll let you know a secret. Whenever I get asked to do a talk like this, I get a little bit nervous. I got a little bit of anxiety. You should have seen me back there, right? I was like, so what I do is I try to think of my friend John, and he's such a loving, fun, and creative person. And I try to put myself into John's body, and I try to think about, well, how would John do this? And then I report to wardrobe, because the other thing that I do is, now, people back there, you won't be able to see it. I could try to hold my leg up, I don't know. I put on these shoes. These shoes. I got them at an Italian shoe store, and they have lacettes in them, but you don't put laces in them. They were very clear about that. Don't put laces in them. So when I look down at my feet, I go, I can't tell if this is ludicrous or high fashion. And that makes me kind of giggle and makes me happy, and then I can come out and talk to you. So I encourage you, keep experimenting with different personas, different people. Remember, there are different acting techniques as well, different ways of creating characters, and then use them to help unlock what is already inside you. Go out into the world, and if you like the one that we just did now, right, this combination of your friend and you, then you can maybe take them out for a walk. Nobody will know you're doing it, right? You're just walking around maybe with your chest up, your chin out, just walking down the street. I wouldn't be surprised if people moved out of your way. Not because you're being a bully or a jerk. No, don't do that. No, because you look like a confident person who knows where you're going. You got someplace to get to. And if you really like that persona, give them a name. Just go, I'm going to wear Bob today. Right? And then, if you want, take them into work or a situation. And you might be astonished at what you're able to accomplish with the help of your friend. And everyone is going to be so impressed with you, and they are going to say, you got character. Thank you.